Oh, hello. I'm Lara Croft, and I want you to know that after that last review he done, I've been nagging and bugging Multi-Voice Reviewer, since he does have a crush on me, to do a review of my franchise, Tomb Raider. So therefore, I've been sending him text message through Instagram and Facebook, and he finally got it, and he decided to do it. So, enjoy. So you don't know who sent me those messages? Some kind of a scammer or something? Well, I don't know. I mean, ever since I did that top 10 list about the female Asian characters in video games... Dang traffic. Anyway, ever since I did that review, I kept on having messages, everybody telling me to review Tomb Raider. I mean, they're all going like, do Tomb Raider, do Tomb Raider, do Tomb Raider. Since you mentioned Lara Croft, you should do Tomb Raider. Well, figure out who's that person sending me those messages and get back to me, okay? That's fair enough. I gotta go. Bye. I always hate earpieces. Anyway, folks, welcome for another multi-voice reviewer. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is the one you all been waiting for. And this is a special. Seriously, I gotta trim this out. Anyway, here we go. Lara freaking Croft. What can you say about this British alien? Actually, what can you say about this British alien? She's like, what if Indiana Jones was a woman and British and decided to find these artifacts? And did you know that her game started all the way back to 1996? So, her gaming franchise are like 20 years old. Maybe more. And of course, one thing I kept noticing, it kind of shocked me. She was born in 1968, and her birthday is on Valentine's Day, February 14th. So that means that Lara Croft is 49. Well, one thing I would say, she still is one hot cougar. Yeah, I call her cougar because she never had kids, so she's hardly a MILF. So that's why I call her cougar. And there's a lot more to her legacy. And what brings out the inspiration of it all? Well, here we go. Ever since Indiana Jones became a huge success throughout history, yeah, I got a DVD collection of Indiana Jones. All 3 of them. What's that? Why didn't I got the 4th one, the Crystal Skull one? Well, honestly, folks, Crystal Skull sucked! I hated it! It was awful! That's why when I was getting the DVD collection, I made sure it was 3, not 4. And I was lucky enough to get it. To get them. And to heck with the 4th one. I mean, come on, Shia LaBeouf is his son, and the Crystal Skulls are actually skulls belonging to aliens from outer space? Give me a break. First it was mystical fantasy stuff with the relics, and now it's extraterrestrials? I wish somebody should shoot me in the head if somebody tells me something that's stupid. I mean, I heard a lot about the Crystal Skull stuff, but I just really don't believe that Crystal Skulls are actually skulls belonging to aliens. Anyway, after the success of Indiana Jones, back in 1996, one of the British companies called Core and another company called Eidos, they decided to create a video game about an archaeologist who are trying to find relics. And at first, they wanted to make the character be a guy. But since there's way too many male characters who are archaeologists, so therefore they decided to make her a woman. And did you know that they wanted her to be Latina? And her name was Lara Cruz, like Penelope Cruz. But they decided to make their character be British, so they call her Lara Croft instead. And this is where Tomb Raider, the first game for PlayStation, was born. And I remember well, actually, to tell you the truth, I didn't play the first game of Tomb Raider. What caught my attention is when I had my first PlayStation 1 game. I didn't play PlayStation 1, but I didn't play Tomb Raider 1, I played Tomb Raider 2. And that's what got me interested in Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider franchise. Now, in the first game, it talks about Lara Croft, who was hired to find this 3 relics. It's supposed to bring about monsters from Atlantis. And it turns out that the bad girl, spoiler, the bad girl, she was the last descendant of the Atlanteans, one of the queens who betrayed her brothers. So now she deals with the queen and kills the monster. And then when they made the sequel here, now there's about a dagger in China. And there's some kind of cult who always trying to bring the dragon back from his slumber. Whoever grabs a dragon and stabs himself with it can become a dragon. And it's up to Lara to find a dagger and deal with the dragon. And then it got so popular enough. Now I have pictures here, I don't have the game itself. They made Tomb Raider 3. This one is more like top secret conspiracy thing. That's why I wasn't that interested. I hate conspiracies. And when Tomb Raider got so dang popular, let's just say that Tomb Raider was more of a sellout and let it be owned by other companies. Oh, and did you know that Tomb Raider 1 was actually first released in the Sega Saturn before released in PlayStation? And of course, Lara Croft became an icon for PlayStation ever since. But another company had their hands on Lara, pun intended, and decided to make their first Game Boy colored game of Tomb Raider. For Game Boy. Game Boy Color, that is. And it's the first time you ever seen Lara Croft in, I guess, either 18-bit design. But, of course, PlayStation struck again and make another game system, which I do enjoy. This one is about when Lara Croft goes to Egypt, and it tells back of her backstory when she was 14, and met her archaeologist, who was her teacher, Werner von Croyd. Tells a bit of the backstory there, and then throughout the game, she explores Egypt and met Werner himself. And it is Tomb Raider Last Revolution. Eat your heart out, Brandon Fraser. Because she battles mummies more than he did. And then at the end, they ended the Last Revolution, that she was trapped in another relic. So therefore, they decided to make another one that is actually available on Sega Dreamcast and PlayStation. And it is Tomb Raider Chronicles. It turns out that Lara Croft has been missing in action, and others think that she is dead. And they kept doing more backstories of what she done, like picked up where her 14 self left off on Last Revolution, and then other missions that she done throughout the whole story. And Lara Croft got so popular that they made a novelization where they sort of continued the story after the video game, believe it or not. I didn't collect any of the novels, but you can look them up in audiobook, either in YouTube or other audiobook sites. When there's something British, I gotta drink my tea. And then all of a sudden, PlayStation is no more, and now PlayStation 2 came out. And they decided to make another PlayStation 2, first PlayStation 2 Tomb Raider game, which wasn't exactly a huge success, but it was very entertaining nonetheless. And it is Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness. You know, the song, Angel of Darkness, Angel of Darkness, the world is in your hand, but I will fight until the end. The song was really catchy, okay? Anyway, the game itself was interesting. He meets this boy named Curtis who wants vengeance, and there's a guy named Eckhart who's trying to bring demonic evil beings, creatures, who are supposed to be part human, part angel. But nothing holier than thou on that one. And then Game Boy struck again when they did Tomb Raider, The Curse of the Sword. Another Game Boy Color version of Tomb Raider, huh? Now, these games were... Now, they decided to remake the Tomb Raider game, remaster her, and recreate her in a better look. Now, they were available on PlayStation 2, but I got the PlayStation 3, and I would say this will be the first PlayStation 3 version of Tomb Raider they made here. I have this pack here, all 3 games, all in one, Tomb Raider Trilogy. First, they made Tomb Raider Legend, where it talks more about her backstory, about her either 8 or 12-year-old Lara Croft seeing the fate of her mother, and she's on a never-ending journey to find her mother. And she finds Thor's hammer, and also found Thor's hammer, and also the what's the name of that sword? Excalibur. Sorry, folks. And then they made this one. It's a remastered, actually it's a remake, not a remaster, but a remake of the first game, Tomb Raider Anniversary. It's the same story, same premise. And now when they made this game called Tomb Raider Underworld, now Lara Croft found this one girl from Legend that she left behind, but it turns out she became evil now. Alicia or something like that? Alicia? And the girl from, and of course that woman, that queen from Atlantis. And of course she also goes one-on-one with her doppelganger. And they also made some DLC games for the Underworld. I don't know it's for PlayStation 3, but for Xbox, it's there. And then Game Boy done it again when they made their Game Boy Advance. Hang on a sec. When they made their Game Boy Advance, they decided to make another Tomb Raider game. And they made this one, Tomb Raider The Prophecy, for Game Boy Advance. In this one, it's more 3D and it's overhead. And then now the online games got so popular now that they made their first online game that you can download on your iPad. It's not available. Well, actually, it's available on your Android, but it costs you. And it is Tomb Raider and the Guardian of the Light, where Lara Croft accidentally risen the evil Aztec god So now she has awakened this guy who's the Guardian of the Light, who's the only one who can defeat that evil god. And throughout the game, you both team up together. The Guardian of the Light and Lara Croft. And then theatrical movies starts becoming a huge thing now. But of course, I'll tell you about the live movie they made later. But right now I'm going to tell you about another thing they made. They made an animated miniseries. Some people say it was over 7. But actually there's 10 episodes. And it's called Revisioned Tomb Raider. This is an animated series, and one thing about these series, they're all created by different animators. So it's more like an anthology Tomb Raider series. And it's a mini-series, so it's really short. And guess who does the voice of Lara Croft in the animated series? I mean, the reanimation one. Minnie Driver. Perfect choice. Minnie Driver's a great actress, and she did a good job doing the voice of Lara Croft in all these different animations. That Minnie Driver, what a woman. And then here comes the theatrical look. Here, what I have in my hand, I mentioned before in the top 10 worst female superhero movies, but I gotta bring them back. Starring Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider, the movie. And like I said before, the reason why these movies weren't exactly that good is because they were so darn dull. I mean, they're taking some of the parts from the video game, but we all grew up with Indiana Jones and the Mummy movies that the world wasn't ready for a Tomb Raider movie. I mean, it did well in the box office. I mean, it was okay. It was not bad. But the worst thing of all they done, they made a sequel. And that is Tomb Raider Cradle of Life. Oh, and here's a little something extra for you guys. In the first movie, Angelina Jolie's real father, John Voight, he's in this movie playing Lara Croft's father. And of course, young Daniel Craig was in it before he became Bond, James Bond. Of course, when it comes to James Bond, I'm more of a Sean Connery fan myself. James Bond. James Bond. I'll have a gin martini. Shaken, not stirred. I'm the most dominant Bond guy who likes to pay homage. Why don't you come over here and show you some real James Bondage? I've seen all your actions and I pin them all. I don't need a cue to bust your buns. I saw the epic rap battle of history, James Bond versus Austin Powers, and I liked the John Connery's appearance. I mean, there's a guy who made himself look like the Sean Connery James Bond, and I just love his lyrics. Oh, please, I'm a lot better. I'm distinguished. If they cast a mini version of me, they should have cast Peter Dinklage. Or perhaps have somebody who is properly English. Oh! Now you listen here, you little duck-faced runt. I'm all in it. I'm ready to die anytime you want. I had to get that out of me. Anyway. But in the Cradle of Life sequel, Gerard Butler was in it. You know, that Scottish tough guy actor. Why did they cast him as the Phantom of the Opera? He couldn't sing worth crap. I mean, he's better off in action films and comedies, but not in musicals. Anyway, this movie bombed to no end. Heck, we seen this movie at the drive-in, and boy, all the kids were asleep. my brothers, my sisters, and my cousins, they all fell asleep, and so did my grandma. I was the only one who stood up, who stayed up. And they say they were making Angelina Jolie sexier than ever. True on that, but, I mean, Angelina Jolie, I mean, she couldn't pull off an English accent even if her life depends on it. That was the problem I have of her playing Lara Croft. Lara Croft is because of her not getting the accent right. Heck, I'm American and I know how to do a British accent. It'd be like, hello, I am Mr. Snob. That's one of my characters, of course, and that's what I always do in my good British accent. Of course, my proper accent, and my Cockney accent, and my Scottish that I got a little from Sean Connery. That's where I got it from. And of course, my Irish. Dang, I'm good. I'm not getting into myself. It's just, I'm funny, and I know it, and I know how to show it. Anyway, the sequel stinked. The first movie was, the sequel, and then all of a sudden I started to notice about a brand new Tomb Raider game. Sadly, I don't have it, but I am thinking about getting myself one. One of these days. Core and Eidos is no longer involved with Tomb Raider anymore. So, but the other company who owns Tomb Raider is Crystal Dynamics. The same ones who did Gex and Legacy of Kain and Soul Weaver. And they teamed up with Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, and made their brand new Tomb Raider video game. And it is the Tomb Raider. In this one, it's more like a life and death situation. If you're not careful, you get killed. And the death scenes is very graphic. But instead of being the tough hellion, it was her first time being in a situation like this. That's what they're trying to make it in this game. And then the internet decided to make some more games get involved. So therefore they made this online downloadable game. It's not available on the Android, but on the iPad then. And it is Tomb Raider and the Temple of Osiris. Where Set, the Egyptian god of evil, has been loose. So now Lara Croft and her new apprentice decided to summon the other gods in order to stop him. And so she summoned Osiris and Isis. Not the terrorist organization, but the Egyptian goddess. Honestly, why they named the terrorist organization after Egyptian goddess? I just don't get it. Why? Jeez. Now, this is another, internet app game, I mean. They've been making some app games of Tomb Raider. And even I got this one I have downloaded, thank goodness. And this was pretty fun. This one is called Lara Croft Relic Run. You play Lara, and she's running through the temple, finding all the relics that she needs in order to get to the next level. And she has to dodge through cliffs and look up ahead, and also firing her gun against monsters or bad guys who tries to kill her. Which was pretty fun. A little difficult, but fun. And then they added again when they made this video game. Rise of Tomb Raider. It picks up where the last Tomb Raider game left off. And that's what it's about. So they decided that the theatrical people decided to make a brand new Tomb Raider game. And it's none other than New Tomb Raider the movie, starring Alicia Vengatter. And here's the actress, Alicia Vengatter, who is actually Swedish. Yeah, she's from Sweden. But I've seen her in other movies, and she can pull off a better British actress than Angelina Jolie ever could. And good thing they didn't make her buxom like Angelina Jolie. But she's a perfect cast. I just hope the movie turns out to be better than the Angelina Jolie films. And that's all I'm saying. And also, now Lara Croft became so popular that they decided to make comic books of her. At first, she started out in on WS Comics, Wildstorm, that's what it's pronounced. And then another company called Top Cow Image made their first genuine Lara Croft comic they made, Origin. Too bad I don't have that one, but I do have number 33. And there's old Lara in the comics. For goodness sakes, put some more clothes on. But I do have this one crossover comic they've done. Top Cow Image decided to do a crossover with another superhero character who's the most popular, and she was on my list on female superheroes I like. And it is Switchblade meets Tomb Raider, and I have the first edition of this one. And it was pretty interesting. Sarah, who is a Switchblade, who have this gauntlet where it can shapeshift into clothing and other weapons, she teams up with the greatest explorer, Lara Croft. But ever since the new movies, ever since the new game, they decided to do a brand new comic book series of Lara Croft, and it was created by Dark Horse Comics this time. And it is Dark Horse Tomb Raider. And that is Tomb Raider for you. Okay, Laura, I know it was you. I figured it out. So, okay, so what do you think? What? How'd you know? How'd you know it was me? It was obvious, Laura. I recognize you anywhere. Heck, I've been playing your game so much I developed a huge crush on you, girl. But now I got older and discovered you're not allowed to fall in love with video games. I don't want to end up in the same situation as Joaquin Phoenix in the movie Her. Anyway, thank you for telling me to do the Tomb Raider game. So, what do you think? Well, I have to say, you did a bloody good job. I really do appreciate that. So, thank you for giving me the justice I need. And no problems, babe. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Don't ever call me babe. Hey, take it easy, take it easy. Besides, who do you think you are, Pamela Anderson? Sheesh. That movie sucked. Besides, there's one question I want to ask you, Lara. What is it? What do you think about this other archaeologist character who's not a sellout like you are? No offense, but you've been selling yourself out on other video game consoles. But this archaeologist who owns himself on PlayStation, what do you think about Nathan Drake from Enchanted, huh? What do you think of her? I mean, him. Nathan Drake? Okay, I got one thing to say about Nathan Drake. He is a cocky, Indiana Jones wannabe, massive wanker. Lara, please! I have kids and religious people watching my show, so watch your language. Oh. Sorry about that. Anyway, I want you to know that you did a good job, and I think my friends here would like to speak to you. What friends? Oh my gosh. It can't be. I want you to meet the VGIC, the Video Game Icon Council.
Hello, it's me, Mario. Thank you for doing your job on the Tomb Raider.
Speedy Blue's back, Jack. Sonic the Hedgehog. And thank you for doing your job, multi-voice reviewer. Now if you'd excuse me, I gotta go fast. It's too bad you didn't even have an Xbox so you can do a good review on Halo.
Sorry, Master Chief. I never had a chance to play Halo. I was just more a PlayStation fan. I was more of a PlayStation fan than an Xbox. And of course, I couldn't afford myself an Xbox at all. That's why it was impossible for me to play any of the Halo games.
That's no excuse. You should have a lot of fun, since you love that other sellout sci-fi franchise, Mass Effect. You should have a lot of fun playing Halo, and have a lot of fun playing me. But anyway, thank you for doing a good job for Lara Croft, I guess.
I've been hanging around video games so long, folks, that some of the video game characters keeps coming to life and start talking to me. Well, thank you. I mean, you're welcome, Council, and you're very welcome, Lara. And for those of you who likes this review of Tomb Raider, please leave a comment down below, hit like, and subscribe. As for me, well, who knows? I might review Mario, I might review Sonic, well, I have nothing to say on Halo because I never play the game. But I'll probably do something else. So, this is Multi-Voice Reviewer, aka Michael Grimm. Michael A. Grimm, that is. Telling you all, thank you for watching. Yes, thank you, Multi-Voice Reviewer. And I want you all to know, if any of you think that Nathan Drake is better than I am, I'll bloody fill you up with lead. You got it? Lara, take it easy. Bye, folks.